Hello, it's Mr. Baumgarten with another Tkinter programming in Python video for you. And today we are going to be looking at using lists in our Tkinter program. So what I've currently got here at the moment is just an empty screen popping up. I've got a top level, I've set it to 500 by 500. I've got my title and I've got the close icon working. And that's all. So let's get a list appearing on screen, and then we'll take things from there, shall we? So self dot, let's be really imaginative and call it a list, and it's tk listbox, all lowercase except for the L, and I'm attaching it to the window, and let's make this width 10 and height 20. Sounds good. And we'll place it onto the screen at 2020, shall we? That's the top left corner. So now when I run this, I should have a listbox drawing on my screen. Oops, self.place and self.list.place. There we go, I've got an empty list appearing on my screen. Well, that's all very exciting. Let's add some stuff into my list. Add items to list. So self.list, and it's insert, and then you put in the position of where you want to insert it into the list. So if I want to insert it at the first place in the list, it's 0, and I can say I need to get more imaginative with my names. Right, so now there's the I am Groot item in the top of the list. And if I add a second one, list insert, nebula. Right, now I've given this position 0 as well. So what do you think will happen? Position 0 is the first item in the list. Now I'm just going to make this list a little wider, so just so we can see it there. So let's make it list wider. So Nebula will end up at the starting place because I've said list zip. Gave her index position 0, so she's going to go to the first item in the list, pushing down Groot. What if I want Nebula to go to the end, but I don't know how many items are in the list? Okay, right now I know. Okay, Groot is in position 1, so I can put Nebula. Oh, sorry, Groot's in position 0, so I can put Nebula in position 1, and that would work. But then, you know, what happens if I insert something else here? List.insert Star-Lord. Right? It's going to end up all over the place pretty quickly. If I automatically just want things going towards the end of the list when I add them, the shortcut for that is TKEND. Shortcut. Okay, TKEND. Alright, so now I'll end up with, and because the list is empty, I'll get a second Groot. So Groot will go to the end, which is when the list is empty, is the first. So then will come Star-Lord, and then will come Nebula. Right. Now, you may already be thinking, well, this is well and good, but the whole point of a list is so I can use lists, and this will get pretty tedious if I have to manually type out every single item. So let's use a list of people, shall we? So let's make up a list and call it Marvel. And let's change the theme. Let's go DC. No one knew it was good, but anyway. Alright, so DC, what have we got? Wonder Woman, Batman, probably the best of the DC characters, Superman, who else is in DC? I don't even know. Aquaman. That'll do. Alright, so I've got a list here of 4 items. Well, I can just use a normal Python list for this 4-person in my DC list. Alright, that's just going to give me the individual strings, so let's just add the string to the end of the list. And that will populate my list with those 4 people. There we go. Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Aquaman. I don't know why Batman gets this space, but Superman and Aquaman don't, but you know, build a bridge, get over it. Alright, let's move on. Set action to run when list is clicked. Alright, that's probably something that's going to be fairly useful for us to be able to do. So what happens when we click on the list? Self list bind is the function that we want for this, and we need to put in a very special string here, which is 2 open triangle brackets, Listbox select, capital L on the list box and capital S on the select, and then close the 2 triangle brackets, close the string. Self dot, so we just need a function name here, so list clicked will do. Alright, so now if I create a list clicked function and give it self as the first parameter, right, then the other thing that I'm going to do, this also requires a second parameter with information about the event. So we will query the event variable to find out what was clicked, essentially. So in fact, let's just print print event, and I shall run this. Right, so now when I click on Superman, we get virtual event x equals 0, y equals 0. That's not particularly helpful, which you'll see in a second how we use it. Actually, I don't use it. But because Python provides it automatically when we run this function, if we didn't look for it, Python would generate an error saying, you know, hey, I gave you a parameter and your function you asked for didn't use it. See, list clicked takes 1 positional argument, but 2 were given. Okay, so we have to at least retrieve the event variable even if we're not going to use it. So what are we going to do? Let's say selected is equal to self.list current, so current selection, short for current selection. Now that's a function, and I'm interested in the first value, so the first selected item, because in theory these lists can actually have multiple items selected. At the moment, by default, only 1 item is going to be selected, and so I just want the first one. And that's going to give me an integer telling me the position. So let's turn this whole thing into an integer. And if I print selected, I'll show you what happens when we click items on our list. I click Wonder Man, I should get a 0, Batman 1, Superman 2, and Aquaman 3. So it's telling me the item number of the list, and then I can use that to retrieve what that item was. So let's say item is equal to self.list.get, and here I just put in an index number. And so since I've got my index number in this selected variable, I can just use that as making a string. You selected item selected, and its value was just got the one print statement. So now when I hit Superman, okay, you selected item 2 and its value was Superman. Batman, you selected item 1 and its value was Batman. And the same kind of thing works if I have a button. So let's quickly draw a button. Self.button. Whoops, sorry, equals tk.button self.window text is equal to click me command equals button click self.button.place x is equal to 20, y is equal to, I don't know, 450. Got list clicked, let's do button clicked. Button click, and that requires self, and I've just noticed that this needs a self in front of it. And back up to line 23, self. There we go. Okay. So now, when I click on the button, we can do all sorts of things here. I could add an extra item to my list, and that's just through doing an insert. I have the simple dialog box here, so let's just do a new item is equal to simple dialog, ask for a string, new item, what do you want? What do you want to add to the list? Yeah. Right, so then whatever it comes from new item itself, list. Right, insert TK and new item. And that should, if I click on that button. Right, Wonder Woman, Batman. If I click, let's put in Robin. There we go. Robin has now been added to my list. Let's change the behavior of the button. Okay, so we'll add a new item to the list, or let's quickly add a second button. Self delete item. Alright, TK button. Self window. This is why I get typing too fast. Delete selected item. Command equals self.delete item. Make a new function. Delete item self. Okay, we'll delete the selected item. Right. So to do that, first we need to find out what item is selected, and you'll remember we've got code that does that right here. So let's do the same thing. Selected is equal to int self dot list dot current selection go. So if our selected item is greater than or equal to 0, so as in we've actually selected something, it's just self.list.delete, and I just give it the index number, so selected. Otherwise we can do, let's do a message box, show error. First. Okay. Run. Click Batman. Oh, where's button 2? I did not post it on screen. X is equal to 20. Let's make this 100. Y is equal to 450. Okay. Superman, goodbye. Superman is gone. Aquaman, goodbye. If I don't select an item, it actually crashes, because this is outside of range. So what I need to do with this, I need to make sure that this actually returns items. So if the length of that is greater than 0, that's when we can run all this. We can run that, and that is actually our if statement to check for it. Let's close the last one. Okay, so now, here we go, now we get the error. It runs, successfully checks the error. Okay, that's a quick introduction into lists. This is Mr. Baumgarten signing out.